Okay, children. So after being introduced to Jaldi and Masti, the father also wanted the visitor to meet Yogi and Slow. Okay. So what was the response there? Slow's asleep, he announced. Then we must let him sleep, our visitor said. Now, children, listen. She cocked her ear alertly, her sensitive nose quivering in the air. Tell me what you can hear and what you can smell. Mother had often played this game with us, but she was never so tense about it. The visitor seemed to think it was so important to answer right. Okay, so we have discovered that one of the siblings is sleeping, one of the pup named Slow is sleeping, and the visitor was quite fine with the other three pups to be trained. So the first thing that the visitor did was that she started asking the question that what can you sense? Okay, this is a very prominent trait among the dogs. So he wanted to know their special gift by asking this question, and this game was already played by the mother of the pups, and the mother used to keep doing this in training them. Like children right now, even during this COVID time, you're at home, you're continuously going through videos and going through the other YouTube video links that we're sharing with you all, doing the assignments, training yourself again and again. So the mother of the pups also kept making sure that they are trained in their senses to discover what their true potential and skill is, right? So they were already experienced in it. The only difference being the visitor seemed to be quite very serious and intense about it, and the visitor expected the right answer. Let's see what happened next. I suspected it might be education. Shut your eyes, it helps, our visitor said kindly. Mother watched expectantly. Father had gone outside the shed where he was pacing about impatiently. The frontier mail has entered the city, Masti said. I can hear it. It's about 10 miles from here. I can hear the alarm go at the crossing as the gates shut. I can hear a man with a bad leg crossing the road near the bakery. Okay, so now the scene, the situation, question has been presented to them. Now they need to promptly give the answer. Okay, so Jaldi came into the mood that are we getting educated over here? This might be some kind of new knowledge or learning, right? At the same time, the visitor was very curious to know their answer. So now Masti came up with his answer. He told that he could hear something. He could hear the frontier mail, the train coming ahead closer and closer, and it's 10 miles away. Can you imagine? That's indeed a gift. 10 miles away and the pup can hear it so very clearly. So that's such a wonderful gift that Masti had been bestowed with, right? At the same time, he also told that, he can hear the alarm go at the crossing, and he can hear a man with a bad leg crossing the road near the bakery. So that was quite a very, great answer given to the visitor. It isn't a bad leg, it's an artificial one, Yogi corrected him. One of the new ones, not the old wooden ones like the milkman's father has. I can smell hair oil on the newspaper boy. He's 2 crossings away. He has come in late. The bright green ice cakes in the bakery have gone stale. He never should have used that color. So there is yet another brighter sibling over here who has an extremely strong sense of smell, and he corrected his brother Masti by telling, okay, this is not the usual leg you're talking about. It's not a broken leg, it's an artificial leg. And that too, going into deeper details, he said, it's not the usual wooden artificial leg, but the newer ones that are being made. And along with that, he also mentioned it is not like the one the milkman's father has. How more accurate can you be? So that is definitely very precise information given by Yogi, credit being to his sense of smell. He also told that he can smell hair oil in the newspaper boy's head. He's 2 crossings away, and today he's come late, so he has this sense of timing also, and he's smelled those the cakes which have gone bad in the bakery, and he's given the explanation of the green color being used to it. So that's quite good explanation. So the last one left over here is Jaldi. Okay, children, that's very clever of you, children, our visitor said. And what does Jaldi have to say? Tumbling in the husks was nothing compared to the way I was about to disgrace mother now. I looked at her imploringly, but she wouldn't meet my eye. The truth was that I couldn't smell or hear as well as Masti and Yogi. The thing I smelled or heard were usually quite different. Just tell us what you think, mother said, as she always does a dozen times a day. Okay, so over here now the chances of Jaldi to answer, and the visitor is expectantly waiting for Jaldi's answer to know what is the gift that Jaldi has. Okay, so Jaldi felt that he has already embarrassed his mother tumbling down the hill. This is going to be way more than that, because he feels that he doesn't have a gift. He feels that the gift is actually with Yogi and with Masti, and he's clearly saying that this gift of their hearing and smelling is too good, and he actually smells something different. He smells fear, he smells emotions, he feels he kind of senses the situations around. He doesn't actually do the usual things, he senses some quite unusual things. So he was quite embarrassed that he might end up embarrassing his mother, and at the same time the mother as usual encouraged the pup by saying that tell us as much you know, whatever you're sensing, tell us. Okay, there was no help for it, so I said, I smell fear. I think it's a little girl who's frightened. The signals were flooding in urgently. She's getting more scared every second. I yelped, oh mother, shouldn't we do something to help? Well, let's find out for ourselves what's the trouble is, our visitor said, and trotted gracefully out of the shed. Mother ambled after her, and the three of us followed as fast as our short legs could carry us. Okay, so basically Jaldi explained that he smelled fear. He can smell that there is this little baby around who's frightened, who's scared, who needs help, who's without his mother. Okay, so this is what Jaldi is sensing, and he's feeling so emotionally drawn towards the child that he tells his mother that can we somehow help that baby that I'm sensing? I can sense fear of the baby. That's showing a very strong emotional sense, a very strong sense of fear and calculativeness about the situations around. That is what Jaldi is bestowed with, gifted with. Okay, well, let's find out for ourselves. This was the response of the visitor. The visitor was very encouraging. Usually, children, what happens when we evaluate a situation, we tend to give up. But the visitor, being a very, very enlightened teacher, the visitor gave time to Jaldi. He wanted to know what Jaldi is bestowed with. He did not give up on Jaldi. He was like, take us along. Take us to that place. Let's find out. Let's discover what it is. Okay? So our visitor said that the visitor trotted along, ran as fast as he could, okay? And mother ambled. Mother was a little hesitant, still not very confident about the gift of Jaldi. So she ambled about. Ambled about means walked very slowly, okay? And the other pups followed all of them. You had better take us there, Jaldi, father suggested as we turned the corner. I think you'll find that you know the way. So I led the procession, and very proudly indeed, as the important visitor stepped aside for me. I knew there was a long way to go, but luckily the wind was helpful and led me across the busy road, through the market and down one of the twisting lanes that leads to the highway. Okay, so if you see over here, the father has also put in an encouraging push to Jaldi. The father is saying, take us along, you can lead us because you are the one who's sensing it, so take us along. Many a times, children, when we want to know about our skills, our potential, we need to take an initiative. Nobody else can do it. So the father over here said that you've sensed it, you take the procession, you take all of us ahead. Okay, so he led everyone and he was feeling so proud of it. He was feeling so confident. What happens when somebody gives you a chance like that, children? Somebody tells you that this is an important work and you are going to do it. You feel so confident. You feel so good about it. So for the first time, Jaldi felt very good when the visitor had taken his side. Visitor wanted to know what he's sensing. Usually people used to give up on him. that okay fine, whatever you're sensing is not going to be true. But the visitor over here has sided up for Jaldi. He knew that it was going to be a long way to the child, but then at the same time, the wind helped. The wind made sure that the pup could run as fast as he can towards the baby. There we found her at last, a little girl crouching behind a garbage bin and crying as though she hadn't a friend in all the world. For some reason, our important visitor turned to mother with a triumphant look. You see? So children, over here we see that, at the end, what is the most important thing is, what have you achieved? So over here, without quitting, without giving up, but with all the encouragement received by Jaldi, he could finally find that child. That shows what he was sensing is aptly true. It's very, very evidently true over there. There was a baby, the baby is crying, the baby is scared, next to a bin without the mother. Okay, and the visitor is so confident, the visitor is feeling all victorious, all triumphant about the fact that I told you every pup has a gift. And see over here, Jaldi also has a gift. Okay, so the visitor is so very confident over here. She demanded proudly. Mother did not congratulate her. In fact, she hardly took notice of the remark. Instead, she edged protectively towards the child. Her mother's probably somewhere close by. She told us, Yogi, Masti, see if you can keep her amused while Jaldi helps us find the mother. Okay, so usually children, this is the case of our loved ones. Whenever we do something good or whenever we are into some kind of an activity, we get lot of support, but at the same time nobody gives in completely to you until unless you complete your task. So the mother is very hesitant. She is feeling that Jaldi does have a gift. She is confident that the mother of the child is around, and she's telling Jaldi, go find the mother of the child, because she feels confident that Jaldi has shown his skill and potential over here. But she's not yet saying anything. She's saying, let's complete the task first. So she tells the two kids to amuse the child, make sure the child doesn't cry. At the same time, she tells Jaldi, go and find the mother first. The prime task over here is to find the mother. This was difficult with the distracting smell of garbage driving every other signal out of my head. Father was very patient with me. Twice he had to gently draw me away from the enticing scents. Our important visitor was of no help at all. Okay, so over here you see Jaldi has started his task. There is a big garbage bin. Usually these street dogs, their best place is the garbage bin. Why? We find all kinds of foodstuffs over there. So he's getting really distracted and he wants to go there and put his mouth into something, something that he can feed on. But then father was twice putting him aside that what is the task right now? Concentrate on it. Don't get distracted. Okay, this is what the father's encouragement was, and he had to completely, make sure he doesn't get distracted, and the support of the visitor is nil over here. Because the visitor wants to be a guide. He doesn't want to be supportive in this role. Okay, children?